Welcome back, sports fans. The Week 6 highlights are uploaded and ready to see in this mid-season update. As the Cats came down to face the Bulldogs, let's see if the old saying of fighting like cats and dogs holds true after a word from this Polk Sports Wire sponsor. Coverage from the sidelines in this Polk Sports Wire video is brought to you by Georgia Northwestern Technical College, who encourage you to get ready for spring enrollment and find your next opportunity in one of the dozens of programs they offer at multiple campuses across the area, including right here in Polk County. Learn how you can be essential in your next opportunity now and visit www.gntc.edu today or click the link in the description to find out more about enrollment. We thank our friends over at GNTC for their support of local news and sports coverage on polktoday.com and sports coverage like this here on polksportswire.com. Cedartown hosted their last non-region game of the year as they get ready to start 7-4A play, and anyone worrying the Bulldogs might suffer from cat scratch fever against Dalton as they faced off for the first time in 25 years can calm down. The Bulldogs made sure this game stayed firmly in their control from kickoff to the final whistle. Dalton got the first possession, tried to punt it away deep in their own territory, but Bulldogs get the block, even though I didn't get it on film very well. Oops. Bulldogs ball at the 25. Next play, Harlem Diamond rushes for a touchdown, and I just happen to be in the way of this score. Extra point after it puts the Dogs up 7-0 early in the first. Next Bulldog possession, Bulldogs QB Reese Tanner reminded the Dalton defense that he can run the ball too, picks up a first down on the play. Couple plays later, Diamond takes a direct snap and he goes all the way for 6 in the touchdown, almost in the same spot as his first score of the night. Bulldogs go for 2 after this one, and look out, Tanner and Eli Barrow connect for the conversion. Seniors are getting it done against the Catamounts, 15-0 first quarter. Look out, Dalton. Here comes Eli Barrow on defense. He had 58 tackles before this game began and picked up 8 more during the first half alone. Cedartown ball time is ticking down the first quarter, and look out for Camarion Davis. He scores from short yardage to put the Bulldogs up 22-0 after the PAT. Bulldogs would keep up the pressure on Dalton. Next Cats possession. Check out DeMarcus Gardner getting a knockdown on this pass play between Dalton QB Parker McClurg and Luke Blanchard. Defense stood firm on this possession too. Second quarter, Bulldogs ball. Reese Tanner goes back for a big touchdown pass, and Harlem Diamond is wide open to trot into the end zone for his third touchdown of the night. Bulldogs up 29-0 after the PAT. Cats have the ball back, and this time they have Ethan Long in to pass. He goes for a screen to Bubba Tanner, but it is met by a wall resistance in the form of Tay Harris, Harlem Diamond, and Carlos Jones. Another great defensive stop by the Bulldogs. Fast forward after a Bulldogs turnover on a fumble, and we get the ball back, and here comes Diamond again. He rushes down the Dalton sideline for a touchdown. Flags flew after the play, but it went against Dalton with a personal foul call. Cedartown's up 36-0 after this one. Okay, here we go. Final score of the night for the Bulldogs. Short yardage. Ball goes to Juice. Patrick Gardner gets to make it 43-0 after the PAT before halftime. Dalton went into the locker room with a running clock on their backs. Didn't get much better for the Cats after, though they were able to score on a field goal and touchdown against the younger kids in the game for the second half. They missed the 2-point conversion in the process. Fireworks celebrate the Bulldogs' 43-9 win over Dalton at home. That was a 4-touchdown night for Harlem Diamond, with scores also going to Camarion Davis and Patrick Gardner. Reese Tanner also had a touchdown pass. Cedartown had 300-plus yards of offense by the end of the first half of this one. Watch out, 7-4A competition. Cedartown stays undefeated at 5-0 on the year and is looking to stay that way. One of the reasons the Bulldogs can command the field and clock so well is the Bulldogs' senior leadership on the offensive line. Here's some thoughts from Coach Jamie Abrams post-game about his stout line. Stellar performance by the offensive line again. Talk to me a little bit about what they've meant as a keystone to this team so far this season.
Well, there's a lot of seniors up there. We did play with a freshman tonight, Bo Ball. But, we got Grant Dempsey, who has played. He started last year and played a good bit his sophomore year. Mario Martin's his first year playing for us, and he's done a good job accepting that role that was vacated last year. Zach Tillery, and then Dustin Green has done a really good job this year. And we've been a little bit dinged up. Obviously, that's a tough position, but hopefully that'll get rectified here in the coming days. And then our tight ends, Edgar Martinez and Cornell Medlin, all those guys, they're old guys, and they should be doing that, and that's what we expect of them.
Harlem Diamond also added his own praise for the offensive line, keeping him going. Well, Harlem, another huge performance tonight. 4 touchdowns, one of them in the air, 3 on the ground. You got to be really excited about how the season is developing for you here as a senior and the opportunities you're having and the touches. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Really, it's just my O-line. We work hard Monday through Thursday, come out Friday, and be ready to play.
Before we jump into the scoreboard, a quick note to congratulate Nick Chubb, now the 5th all-time rusher for the Cleveland Browns. He's already up to 62 carries, 341 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 3 games this year, including that recent one Thursday night against the Steelers. Woo, that was a crazy ending. We'll be keeping up with him throughout the rest of the season. Region play for some squads began, so we're changing up the scoreboard to look at how our 2 regions fared for Rockmart and Cedartown first. Let's start with 7AA. Since Rockmart was off this week, only team not starting their region play in, since there's 7 teams and someone has to be the odd one out. Model hosted Murray County to open region play. Murray's woes continue, 44-0 win for Blue Devils. Expected result there at Rockmart this coming Friday. That should be a big showdown. No promises, but we'll try to get second half highlights from that one. Harrelson went to North Murray, and this one got ugly for the Rebels and was a great win for the Mountaineers. North Murray wins big, 40-29. Mountaineers start region play 1-0. Fannin was at Gordon Central and Poor Warriors. Rebels win big, 47-6. I'll have more to say on 7AA later this coming week in our region preview on Thursday. Now let's move into region 7-4A and find out how Cedartown's upcoming opponents fared on Friday night. Heritage Catoosa played against Chattanooga Prep. Generals dominated in a shutout, 47-0 win over Prep. Southeast Whitfield finished off non-region play with a 4-1 record after a Friday night win over Druid Hills. They're in action next week against the Generals, who are still undefeated. Let's see how those 2 stack up. Lots of 7-4A teams were off this week with a bye before region play, so nothing for Northwest Whitfield, Central Carroll, or Sonoraville. We'll have some week 7 updates next weekend. Here's some area games we watched the scoreboard for, starting up north by the Tennessee state line. An interesting matchup of the week. Lafayette at Gordon Lee. 2 Walker County squads with a lot to prove on Friday night. Trojans come out with the win they needed, but close, 26-22 Gordon Lee. Let's hope the Ramblers can regroup this coming week in region play. Coal Creek was at Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe. Colts came into this one 3-1 on the year. They continue to improve up in Dalton against the Warriors, coming out in this one at 1-3. Their only win over Murray County and in overtime to boot. Don't expect much from the Warriors this year. Creek survives this one 25-22. They move to 4-1 on the season. Bremen had the opportunity to get back on track Friday night, hosting 0-4 Ridgeland D. 2-2 Blue Devils improved with a big win, 37-6 over the Panthers. Christian Heritage hosted St. Francis. St. Francis wins 26-7. Shifting gears, let's take a look over at what happened in Bartow County on Friday night. Ringgold at Adairsville was a WGA pregame pick this week. I was the only one to pick the Ringgold Tigers. The cat fight got nasty in Bartow County. Adairsville wins big, 49-10. Cass was at ML King out of Lithonia. Both came into this one 1-3. Cass wins huge in this wipeout, 63-7 over ML King. They proved it 2-3. Woodland was at Osborne, and I picked against the Wildcats on the pregame show. Good choice. Osborne won 38-14. Sorry, Woodland, just not your year. Cartersville was off tonight over in Bartow County. They've got Calhoun to open region next week. The Yellow Jackets were off as well. South Paulding hosted Noonan this week. Spartans were the only team in action this week in Paulding County. They won 42-12 on Friday night. Bowden Temple was looking to me like a real showdown around the I-20 West corridor. Tigers hosted this one, and boy, it got ugly for them. Red Devils win 55-27. An undefeated University of Carrollton hosted Hillgrove on Friday night. Trojans win big, 56-23. The team we've been meaning to add for weeks now, Mount Zion Carroll Eagles hosted the Jasper County Hurricanes on Friday. 3-1 Eagles moved to 4-1 against the Canes, down them in a 21-0 shutout. Villarica was at Banneker, both 2-2 heading into this one. Wildcats win 30-3. Altoona came to Rome. Wolves take a bite out of the Bucks with a 42-19 victory up in Barron Stadium. Our Murchie made the not-so-far trip to play at Coosa on Highway 20 heading toward the Alabama line. Eagles and Indians were evenly matched in this one. Eagles are improving each week with the young squad. Won this game 33-17 for region play. Pepperell at Chattooga. Dragons need a win, and Chattooga wants to get their season going. Somerville was rocking, but only because Lindale won 21-7 in this region matchup. Finally, let's take a look at the matchup I found most interesting this week. Darlington was at Dade County. I wrote a bit about this one in the Week 6 preview on PolkSportsWire.com and was worried it could be a trap game for the Tigers. Not so. Darlington wins in Trenton 33-7. Great job, Tigers. Okay, sports fans, that does it for the Polk Sports Wire highlight reel for Week 6 of the season. I've been trying to come up with a name for the highlights and scoreboard quote-unquote show I've been putting together these past few weeks, but I haven't figured out one. Got a suggestion? Email it to kevin@polk.today. The one I choose will get a free 1-year subscription to Polk Today and Polk Sports Wire for contestants that are 18 and over. We'll have some details free to read on Polk Sports Wire on Monday. I'm Kevin, the editor. Thanks for tuning into this Polk Sports Wire video. Check back on Thursday for region previews for Cedartown and Rockmart's upcoming games, and we'll see you from the sidelines next week.